Alright, all done, man. Oh, can I see what it looks like? Sure, man, of course. Man, what the f is this? Well, what do you think? Do you like it? Do I like it? Nigga, look at the side of my goddamn head. What's wrong? I gave you exactly what you asked for. Bro, I said I wanted the nice temp fade, not the vector special. Oh, my bad, bro. My bad? Man, f that. Run me my ones, nigga. Barbers, aka the people who single-handedly have the power to make you look like the sexiest man on earth for 2 weeks, or make you look like this nigga. As we all know, the powers that barbers hold is equivalent to that of Thanos himself, and of course any mortal man with this much power cannot be trusted. Now we all know that feeling, the feeling of coming to the barbershop with the hopes of leaving a new, fresher, and crispier man than before, hoping that once you step out that barbershop, that the females will have no choice but to bow in your presence from your glorious hairline, that when you step out that barbershop, even the gods themselves will quake at the sight of your magnificent fade. But for many of us men out there, these hopes are merely nothing but a dream. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into the barbershop with the highest hopes for how my haircut was gonna look, only to leave looking like I was getting ready for military boot camp, and with 10 times less self-esteem than I already had when I walked in. The embarrassment of having a bad haircut is already bad, but it only gets worse when you're forced to share that embarrassment to the world. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of my own traumatic haircut stories, along with the overall struggle of having a bad haircut. Number 1. The terrible barber. So if you've ever been to a barbershop, you know that usually there are several different barbers working at one time. You got the guy in the front, aka the main barber, the middle barbers, and the back barbers. We don't talk about the back barbers, just know they're in the back for a reason. Now when you walk in, you're challenged with making the single-handed most important decision for the next 2 weeks. Who is going to be the chosen warrior to lay their majestic clippers on your head? Now naturally, I just went with the guy who had an open chair and looked free, which is where I already went wrong, because every man knows if a barber has no clients, he has no clients for a reason. But I really didn't feel like waiting behind 2 or 3 people just to get a cut. So anyway, I sat down, told the guy what I wanted, and he'd get to cutting. I almost vividly remember the sound and the feeling of the razor as he began cutting my hair. If only I knew how much PTSD these 2 things would put on my innocent soul. Fast forward 15 minutes, the barber told me he had finished and handed me a mirror to look at. It was at this very moment when I realized I had made a very critical mistake in my calculations, and that I had in fact not just chosen the wrong barber, but probably the worst barber, and now I had to live with those consequences. Long story short, because of what this man did to me, I had become almost completely unrecognizable. My hairline ruined, fade non-existent, my hair gone. The most embarrassing part was when this, knowing the war crimes he committed on the top of my noggin, would then proceed to tell me, so that will be $15? Okay, here you go. Have a nice day. You too. You too. Number 2, showing up to school. Now we all know there's no worse place on earth to be with a fucked up haircut than the 8-hour juvenile prison we call school. Going to school with a messed up haircut is the equivalent to pulling up to school in a clown uniform. You're guaranteed to get roasted beyond comprehension and straight up bullied. The second you walk through those doors, motherfuckers finna get to cooking you without hesitation. I remember a time back when I was little, I went to this one barber who just did me absolutely foul. I don't know if my dad owed him money or if he found out his wife cheated on him or what, but it was clear that this dude had nothing but murder on his mind, and I was the unlucky soul who dared set foot in his barbershop that day. Let's just say once I saw what the cut looked like, I had tears running down my eyes. And of course, even though I had this Mr. Crocker looking ass cut, my parents still forced me to go to school the very next day, so I had no other choice but to suck it up and get ready for a full day of embarrassment. I'm not making this shit up when I say the minute I stepped into my class, half the class started giggling. Even my own homies, my own brothers, was on my head just straight up violating me. My cut was so bad that the teacher had to take me out the class and ask, is everything okay at home? Like, how is my cut that atrocious that even now my teacher thinks something is wrong? But that's not the only reason why having a bad haircut is a fate worse than death itself. Because at my school we had this thing called getting necked, or the cheese neck as it's more commonly known as, which is basically when you go up to someone with really short hair or just a bad haircut in general and smack the shit out of their neck. Now, as you could probably imagine, this only made life harder for anyone who had a bad cut, as you literally had to walk around the halls with your head on a constant swivel, with the fear that you were going to get sneak attacked at any given moment. I've seen dudes minding their own business just trying to get to their next class, when out of nowhere, bam, they get hit with the Will Smith smack straight to the back of the neck. It's not even fair either, because these dudes never saw it coming. And you want to talk about an unfair fight. Number 3, trying to get bitches. Now, as if it already wasn't impossible for a nigga like me to get bitches, notches. I look like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. I have absolutely zero riz, and I have the same type of drip as a GTA NPC. Now add on having a pushback hairline, and you might as well call it raps from my dating life. I'm finished. There's only two ways me trying to get girls with a fucked up haircut can go. Either they just straight up laugh in my face, or they awkwardly try to make an excuse to leave the conversation. I remember one time in middle school, I had to go to a different barber from my usual one because he wasn't in town at the time. Looking back, I wish I would have just kept my nappy hair instead. But anyway, I ended up getting cut by this random Jamaican dude who ended up not only pushing my hairline back about 2.8 miles, but also gave me the wrong cut. I asked this man for a basic lineup, and he gave me the prime Cavalier LeBron cut. Had me looking like the light-skinned version of Caillou. Needless to say, when I tried to perform my unspoken riz on my school crush, she proceeded to sneak a pic of my cut and post it all over Snapchat. I became the laughingstock of not only all the baddies, but everyone in that school. As you could probably guess, my terrible ability to get women became even worse. To this day, I still want my ones with that barber. Number 4, trying to hide your cut. Now, we all know the various techniques of trying to hide a bad haircut. You got the hats, the do-rags, just wearing a straight up hoodie. I've even seen some people rock a full-on shiesty just to hide their hair. The insane lengths and measures you had to take just so people didn't see your atrocious haircut was absurd. But there's one problem with all these methods, and that's that schools don't allow you to wear any of them. Maybe at some schools it's different, but I remember at my school, if you got caught with the hoodie on, they treated it as a federal offense. You'd be lucky if you didn't get suspended for the next 2 weeks. That's how serious they used to treat that rule. I swear if they caught you wearing anything on top of your head, they treated you like a threat to national security. Because of this issue, I've tried going above and beyond in order to hide my terrible haircut. I'm talking activating my Jimmy Neutron brain in order to cook up a believable way to hide my haircut. From drawing my own hair, to putting on a fake wig, to even cutting my hair myself. I was attempting to pull out all the sacred and hidden techniques of trying to cover up my abomination of a cut, which, as I think you can all imagine, ended up going terribly wrong. I probably would have sold my left testicle just to hide this monstrosity of a cut. All in all, no matter how hard I tried to cover up my Charlie Brown looking head, I was never able to find a solution. Overall, a bad haircut is one of the most traumatic events a man can go through in his life. From getting bullied at school to causing his riz level to drop down to a -1, a bad haircut can completely alter someone's life. It's for this exact reason why I'm starting a petition to hold barbers accountable for their own actions. From here on out, barbers who commit atrocities like this should be sentenced to at least 15 years in the state pen without parole. My fellow Americans, I've had enough. These sinister villains can't keep getting away with doing this to my hairline. They just can't. For every like this video gets, that's one less terrible barber out there on the streets. If you want to support the fight against dog barbers, go to www.lockhisassup.com, and together we can start holding these disgraceful barbers accountable for their abominable actions. But anyway, I'm going to end off today's video right there. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave a like. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This video was a little bit different from my usual ones. Regardless, I still do hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to hear some more of my voice, there should be some other videos on the screen. And yeah, with all that being said, later.